Welcome to the Cielo Spiritual Foundation podcast, your guide to healing, balance, and renewal. Join your host, Michelle Garcia, as she connects with leading experts to share powerful insights on mind, body, and recovery strategies. Tune in, transform, and discover new ways to live a better life. It all starts now.
So today I'm happy to welcome Michelle Garcia.
My friend Michelle Garcia is back here on the program to tell us a bit about an upcoming Cielo Spiritual Foundation.
Hi there, and welcome to another beautiful interview. Inspiring interview brings you an amazing guest today, Jessica Hirshowitz, whom I love and adore. You are going to get an inside look at the transformation process that happens for those who unfortunately have suffered with addiction, but have come up from the depths of addiction into a life that I believe to be so inspiring. We're sharing with you today. So, to support, please take a minute, subscribe, like, share with a friend, and that would really, really help others. And the gift of giving has a beautiful ripple effect. So, thank you, namaste. All right, so. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Oh, another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. Yes, I'm so happy to be on your show. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And asking me to share my story. I'm very excited for this podcast.
Oh, I'm so thankful you have the courage to just share your truth with everyone here today. You really are significantly one of the most amazing stories that I've come across and witnessed. And actually, I feel it an honor to have witnessed your life story unfold.
Yeah.
Especially the good part. I get to be a part of that piece, but also the difficult parts when, you're working through your trauma and you really have been. So let's talk a little about your childhood growing up. What did that look like? Where you're from?
Okay, I'll start off. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. And I grew up there till I was about 11, 12 years old. Basically, there was a lot of crime and violence that was going on in Johannesburg. And so my mom decided she wanted to move to America. So I stayed in South Africa for while my mom came to visit the States, and I was very nervous, didn't want to leave South Africa because I had my friends there, my family. I just didn't feel comfortable leaving, but I knew that the move would probably be a good thing because the violence was out of control. So my mom got back to South Africa and we moved to Chicago. I lived in Chicago for about 3.5 years. My mom suffers from bipolar. She has really bad depression, and she also suffers from anxiety like I do. And so we moved to Chicago. We were there for 3.5 years. My mom was in and out of hospitals because of her depression and her bipolar. So she couldn't get work, and so we decided to move. to San Diego, La Jolla. So we lived in San Diego, La Jolla for about 2.5 years, and my mom actually tried to commit suicide.
What prompted that, you think?
I think from past experiences that happened in my family. Okay. Basically, she took a whole bottle of lithium, and she had thrown it up and shitted it out during the night. So in the morning, I went into the kitchen, ate breakfast, and I'm like, okay, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. My mom should be up by now, and she wasn't up. So I walked down the hallway, and I opened the door, and I remember to this day, it's clear as day, there was throw up and diarrhea all over everywhere. And I ran over, called 911. They told me to stay on the phone with 911 and hold her head up and just told me what to do. And so I called my aunt, and I went to go stay with my Aunt Lee in Santa Monica for about, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 months. And then
your mom made it through that. She was able to purge it out of her system, die from the toxin, right?
Got out of her system.
Thank God. I love your mother, by the way.
Thank you so much. She's so dear to me.
Such an incredible
She's amazing. She's amazing. She's really, and I'll get to the part that she's stable and everything now on her medication, but back then she wasn't. So I went to therapeutic boarding school in Bend, Oregon. I was there for 13 months. And anyways, when I left therapeutic boarding school, my mom was stable on her meds, and we moved to Florida. And that's where my drug use started. It was a lot of cocaine, tons of cocaine, because Florida, Cuba's right there. You know. So basically, I did a lot of pot, a lot of cocaine, and I met this guy, Robbie. And I remember we were going, like, in Melbourne, the area that I lived in, there was, like, bad neighborhoods around there. I remember we were driving around in that neighborhood, and he started smoking on tinfoil. And it was like, what the fuck are you doing? What is that? Smoking crack. And I didn't realize it was crack. And so basically, it just went downhill from there. And then we decided we moved back to LA, to Santa Monica. And my drug use was still there. I was in and out of hospitals, in and out of treatment centers. And basically what happened was I went to sober living in Long Beach, and I met a guy named James. And I was with him for about 13 years. And when I was at that sober living in Long Beach, I remember he introduced me to heroin. He got protein powder and put the syringe and heroin in protein powder and like handed it to me across the apartment complex that we lived in. And I opened it up and I was like, what is this? I'd never seen it before. I never knew how to use it, but that was the first time I remember I used heroin. And basically we were off and running then. I left the sober living in Long Beach, and his dad was the mayor of Long Beach. So I remember his dad and his mom also were trying so hard to get him sober and get him clean. And he just couldn't do it.
And he's not with us anymore, right?
He passed away from this disease.
Just recently.
Sepsis. He got sepsis and he passed away.
Wow.
So basically, we were off and running, and he introduced me to downtown Los Angeles.
No.
Skid Row.
Yeah, wow.
So that was like a whole different level. That was a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And I remember he was showing me how to do it, because I didn't know how to do it. I'd never lived that kind of a life before.
Like the whole hustle.
Yeah, the hustle, the game, just everything, and I started doing what he was doing, like hanging out, shooting up in tents downtown LA. I mean, you can, on Skid Row, there's people smoking crack, shooting heroin on Skid Row, and the police station's right there. But you do like a jaywalk, they'll put you in jail for a jaywalk. But if you smoke crack or shoot heroin on Skid Row, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. You don't get arrested for that.
Trust me, I've seen it. And you know what we used to do is take people there from the rehab so that they could see, like, maybe the yet or like or just like to eye-opening, like where it can get you, because it's pretty hardcore.
And people don't think.
But we assimilate, right? Like the human condition will just assimilate and will just lower the bar to like get what you need, and lower the bar to get what to make it okay to continue to use, and whatever it takes, right? It's just it's pretty gnarly. It's really insidious, and it definitely took you to a low point.
Sure. Level of the game.
Yeah, and it's just like live to use, right? And then, no life for my little Jewish princess.
I know this Jewish Jack is running around downtown Skid Row, fucking shooting up, doing all sorts of fucked up shit. And anyway, so.
And where's your dad in all this?
He's not with us anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, so I left Skid Row, and I went back in and out of treatment, in and out of hospitals. I used to get my SSI Social Security money, and I would pay for a hotel. So I'd be like living in these fancy hotels, but shooting dope in these fancy hotels. So I'd spend all my money on these fancy hotels, and I would be at like the Four Seasons shooting up.
No,
So I don't know. It's just crazy the things I did. But so anyway, and then James, like I said, passed away from sepsis. It was so sad.
But not while you were using. This is later. When you were sober, you found
I was
that.
sober
But
when
what
I
brought
found
you to
out.
your bottom?
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened is I got from one of the dealers that sold heroin, sold fentanyl as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so
right, I
basically I got introduced to the heroin stopped working. So I was like, okay, let me try this fentanyl and see if that helps me not be sick. And
Because basically it's about getting not sick.
yeah,
At this point, it wasn't.
when you're dope sick, you're like, it's the flu times a million.
Oh, yeah.
So
Glad I knew.
it's just crazy. So anyways, I introduced me to fentanyl. And I started smoking fentanyl, then I started snorting fentanyl, and then I started shooting
I
fentanyl.
didn't even know you could snort it. Wow.
Yeah, it's white powder. It looks like cocaine.
Yeah, I know they're lacing it on cocaine
Yeah.
these days, actually, and people are dying.
So basically, I got into the fentanyl scene, and so I had gone into UCLA.
How long were you in doing fentanyl? Switch over to fentanyl. How long did that last?
Lasted about 2 to 3 years.
Okay, wow.
On and off, on and off.
What's the off? How long was the off gaps?
Maybe a couple weeks, couple months, not long.
Yeah, okay.
And so basically I went to go detox in UCLA, and my mom and my grandma picked me up, and they took me out when I was done detox. They took me to get my nails done, my hair done. Everything was like perfectly fine. I was having such a good time. I was clean. I was doing stuff with my family.
Felt good?
I felt good. And then they dropped me off at this not senior, not like at a sober living, but it was like
Board care?
kind of like that. Yeah.
Like
A boarding care kind of thing. And so I was there and I was like, you know what? I really want to get high right now.
Had you no experience with like AA or 12-step
I
yet?
had plenty of experience. I just didn't care. I wanted to get high.
Did you ever do the steps?
I did the steps when I went to rehab in Adelina Lodge in New Jersey. I did the steps because I was there for about 13 months. I had 13 months clean at one point, but then I wasn't really actually implementing and working the steps.
Or like living, yes.
Yeah.
Did you do all of them actually?
Yeah, all of them.
Really? Okay. But then you just didn't stay in helping others.
Stay with it.
All right.
Went to a sober living in Maryland, and then I just was like, fuck it, I want to move back to LA. So I moved back to LA.
So going back to this,
Back to the fentanyl. So I had such a nice day with my mom and my grandma, and that didn't matter. As you know, as an alcoholic or a drug addict, it could be the perfect day. It could be a terrible day. But regardless whether it's a terrible day or a good day, you're going to use no matter, if you're going to use, you're going to use no matter what.
no defense, yeah.
Any alcoholic or drug addict knows that. So I shot up fentanyl, and I wish today I could take that day back.
I know.
That day was the worst thing that has ever happened to me my whole 39 years of my life. I overdosed on fentanyl,
Yeah.
and I was completely gone. I was purple. So what happened was I tied off right here. You can kind of see the mark right here.
No, yeah.
From where I tied off. So I had left the tie on here, so the blood stopped circulating to my hand.
You passed out like.
As I passed out.
Right. Okay. So I didn't know.
And so basically, my phone got turned off, and my mom was calling, and she couldn't get a hold of me. And the paramedics came, took me to the hospital. They put me on life support. Basically, I was completely catatonic. I couldn't recognize my mom. I couldn't recognize my aunt. I couldn't recognize my cousins. I did not know who anybody was.
How scary.
And basically, they put me on life support. I had to learn to talk again, eat again, walk again. I remember I was in a wheelchair, or I was in the bed, and I had to transfer from the bed to the wheelchair. So, I was in the hospital, and I was completely catatonic. I did not recognize anybody or anything. I remember I was in a wheelchair, or I was in the bed wanting to transfer to the wheelchair, and I was so scared because I couldn't walk. So I was terrified from getting from the bed to the wheelchair. Then I had to do from wheelchair, I had to have a walker. And then finally I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna walk again. And I'm a determined woman. Like when I put my mind to something,
I know.
I get it done no matter what. So
Yeah. Thank gosh.
basically I was in a skilled nursing facility for about, I don't know, a year or so. And then I learned to walk. I was in the hospital on life support. I remember that when they took the tubes out of my mouth, I wasn't able to talk. I know my mom wouldn't come visit me. I know it was way too hard for my mom to see me in a situation like that, so she wouldn't come visit me. But basically, my aunt's support and everything. And I just remember they took the tubes out of my throat and I was hard to talk. Like I couldn't talk.
You were in a coma,
I
right?
was in a coma.
How long were you in the coma?
Probably about a month or so.
No, know if you were going to come out of the coma or not, right? That's just, well,
So
you are really a miracle, Joseph.
thank you.
I mean, seriously, like,
So yeah, getting back to that, and then my mom had found your sober living, and I remember I was staying with my mom, and she showed me a video of your place, and I was like, oh my God, I really want to go there. Can I go there, Mom? And so I saw the video, and I was like, and then I remember coming to your house, Michelle, and I remember how difficult I was and how stubborn and
actually determined.
And I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't walk up the stairs. And I said to you, Michelle, I remember saying to
To
you,
the bedroom, and you're like,
I
yeah.
was like, can I sleep on the couch?
No.
And you're like, this girl, no, you cannot sleep on the couch. Like, what are you thinking?
Oh, not that hard. I was just like,
And so
that's not going to work.
yeah, it's just not going to work. And so anyways, got so determined. I'm like, I'm going to go back to that skilled nursing facility, and I'm going to do some occupational and physical therapy. I'm going to walk up those motherfucking stairs.
Oh, which is
the last thing I do.
I do remember you affirming that you were going to walk up the stairs, and I remember feeling really moved by your determination. You're like, well, I'm going to go do physical therapy. And I was like, well, God bless her, let's see. And I was very pleasantly surprised when you came back and absolutely could walk up the stairs from a place of not.
Like I said,
that really moves me.
When I put my mind to it, I can do it and accomplish it.
I love that.
So, yeah.
It's a good reference point for you and your spiritual journey.
Yeah.
To kind of go to that. Like, if you can do that, like you can do this. It's like keep, kind of building on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So then you got here, and well, I guess we could talk about like what kind of an experience it's been for you. I mean, be honest. I mean, you don't have to like.
Yeah, no, this has been such a great journey for me. I've had my sponsor.
Yeah, I know.
I have Sasha for about 2 years now.
Oh, I know, and I'm so happy that it's her.
I've had my relapses here, not on fentanyl, Baruch Hashem, but I've had my relapses on alcohol. And Michelle has kindly let me come back. I mean, yes, there were consequences for it, but Michelle, you have such a big, huge heart, and just allowing me to come back and giving me chance after chance after chance.
Well, I mean, so that said, there has definitely been where you have done immense amount of work, and you're not putting the effort in. It's just we needed to do more, add therapy, add more structure, things that could help support you moving through trauma you haven't even talked about. There's a lot to your story, and just hearing what you've heard, it's pretty remarkable, but there's even more. I mean, she's layers, and it's such an honor to see you unfold and come into your truth and be at peace with sharing this so that somebody else may get some hope, because I think there are people that may not be as determined initially in those state of beings, and just to hear that all things are possible with God, right?
Yes.
And so
I'm talking about God. God is such a big part of my life today.
Right.
I would not be here. I'm really I say, because I have pain days, I have good days and bad days. My hand got paralyzed. My whole right side got paralyzed from the overdose.
Right.
And even on my pain days, I'm like, I am the chosen one, because it's seriously, I should not be, number one, I should not be alive from this overdose. And 2, like, I just feel like Hashem has blessed me and helped me so much through my life that I owe my life to him. And, I owe it to my mom, to myself, and to Hashem to stay sober. And to you, Michelle, because you've been like a mother to me, a second home.
Thank you. Yeah.
You really have.
You make it easy to feel maternal to someone. I mean, you're so receptive to love and you're so giving of love, not just to me, but to this whole entire community and to all the new people that come and go and move through here. You have a gift of making people feel very, welcomed. And that didn't happen in the beginning. That is something you have cultivated, which I so appreciate about you. It's like at first that was just not the case, but it was great to see, that becomes something you can shift and change into, a person that is warm and welcoming, right?
I was very stubborn and very like a brat, a spoiled brat when I came here. And I think that now I've humbled myself and I can see clearly now.
A lot more clearly, I'm sure. Just being abstinent gives you a lot more clarity, does it not?
I have 6.5 months from my relapse.
Right. And you're abstaining from?
From everything. Abstaining from being a bitch.
Dating,
yes.
Because it seems that was a trigger we need to,
I get triggered,
And you're in therapy. We've done therapy,
yes,
which was so truly an honor. And you're doing therapy with someone else right now. And you are on step what?
7.
Yeah, that's great. With an alumni from from here, which I think it's great.
Like a sister to me.
And I'd love to see you do that for someone that I know.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you're going to really keep it, Jess, this time. Like, it's really going to reward. It's a gift that does not stop giving.
Yeah.
So let's talk about hobbies. What are you doing to cultivate your life in the way of, like, fun?
Volunteer work. I'm trying to get some volunteer work, which actually, getting volunteer work is just as hard as getting a real job because it's taking some real effort. But every day I do the steps to try to get volunteer work. I make phone calls. I'm very persistent. If people don't call me back, I call them again.
Good.
So I'm doing that, and I really would love to volunteer at like an old age home with the elderly because I'm so good with them. I think that would give me meaning and purpose.
Nice.
And so I'm aspiring to do that, and I'm very motivated to do it, and I'm going to make sure it happens. And I'm working my steps. I'm working with Sasha, my sponsor, and I think, like you mentioned earlier, also, me sponsoring somebody.
Didn't you get an actual volunteer position somewhere?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was that?
I think it was DAP.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What are you going to do there?
I'm not sure. I'm going to go in for an interview.
Fun.
See what they say.
I love that.
Yeah. And what else? I'm trying to think.
Well, we do sort of fun parties, and I know you're engaged when that happens. Karaoke, cooking. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I have the best cooking partner ever, Tammy Bean Chapin. And normally what we do is I'll supply the food. I'll buy the food. So what we're going to do this Monday is we're going to make a chicken salad. And so we're going to do that. And, I think I need to find more hobbies that I like doing for myself for fun, because I think a lot of my using was very isolative. I was isolating a lot and stuff. So I think I need to just also go into outside meetings. I'm starting to do that. So that's great.
Good.
I had a hard night the other day, and I remember I called Sasha, my sponsor, and she was like, you need to get to a meeting. And so I went to a meeting, and that helped so much. And
Nice.
Implementing all my recovery into my day-to-day life is very important to me, and it helps me a tremendous amount.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
So,
Really cool. So speaking of Tammy and your wonderful cook partner, Can you speak to the friendships you have developed in your journey here? Because
Tammy has been, I have never, when I moved from Johannesburg, South Africa, I had no friends because a lot of the girls were vicious and mean to me. And they would be, I remember sitting at lunch one time in Chicago and, I would pretend I was sick so I didn't have to go to school. The girls were so mean, making fun of my accent and stuff like that.
Oh, I love your accent.
Me moving to Michelle Garcia, Cielo Sober Living, I have made friendships that will last forever in a lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, Tammy is amazing. She's my bestest friend in the whole world. I'd die for that girl.
Wow.
I really would. And I can't say that about a lot of people, but she's just amazing to me. And I love her so dearly. And I've had my mishaps with Allie, but I mean, I love her too, to death. She's my best friend too. I mean, the friendships that I've made here, I mean, it's going to make it so hard to leave here. I just hope that our friendships maintain when I leave here.
Why not? Why not? You know?
Yeah.
How long have you been here now? You want to talk about that?
4 years. I've been here for 4 years, and this is not even Cielo's Sober Living to me. This is my home. I love this place so much. Like, I make sure I will never, ever do anything to get kicked out of here. No, I'm serious. I don't allow that to ever happen.
I appreciate your love and respect, Jessica. I really do.
I just want you to know how much I love it. Respect you, Michelle. You're my role model. You really are. I love you so much.
Thank you. I know. I feel that. I feel that all the time from you. And you are no problem communicating words of affirmation to people. It's really nice.
I think as you mentioned that, it's like I don't have a problem doing that, but I have a problem with affirmations with myself. Mentioning, Sasha's also mentioned, I gotta be good to myself and say the affirmations to myself and try to take them in and mean that.
Yeah. So what's something you can practice?
I'm a strong, determined, independent woman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Interdependent, right?
Interdependent, yes.
You like that. That's beautiful, Jess. So I guess, how do you like the sound baths here? And like the program, Conscious Recovery, and these kinds of...
I love Conscious Recovery. I mean, we get so... When you lead the meetings, we get so much out of it.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate them. The program here that you made is very special, very special.
For her.
And I really appreciate it.
You feel like the sound bath makes a difference for you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to share about, like, this journey? What could you say to the person that, is struggling with addiction, maybe watching this on YouTube and being like, oh, I don't know, is this girl for real? Or what do I do? Or what,
I think, a lot of people will say, oh, what happened to me will never happen to them. But you know what? Don't be so sure, because I never thought in a million years that what happened to me would have happened to me. So, just please, if I could have just helped one person and, I've done my job, that's all I care about. Just know that, using drugs, it's just not, you never know what could happen to you. And I would do anything to take that day back, and I can't take that day back. Now I have to live with the consequences of my actions. And, it's a day-to-day struggle. Every day is a struggle for me.
Did you know you're putting the work out into it, and it becomes less of a struggle and more of just a journey, right?
Yeah.
You're living life on life's terms, Jessica, and it's really inspiring. You truly have made this show really own its name, Inspiring Interviews.
Yeah.
So I made you this shirt in honor of, your coming out and sharing. I painted Inspire with the logo.
Oh my God.
And I wear it in good health. I know you like black, so I did black.
I love it. Thank you so much, Michelle.
I adore you, Jess. You really are a blessing to everyone.
So much. And thank you so much for having me and then allowing me to help other people and tell my story.
Yeah, your recovery makes a difference.
Definitely.
Know that. Yeah. Join us Sundays. You'll get a notification as a subscriber, letting you know we have an interview for you to enjoy, to share, to comment, to ask questions, inquire within, Certainly I have a plethora of resources for, treatment and recovery or detox, aftercares, both in this Coachella Valley, LA area, Hawaii, pretty much anywhere. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm certainly always happy to help in that capacity. And if you're just curious about anything else as it relates to spiritual well-being or getting inspired, feel free to comment that in the comment line. I do look at the comments. I do read, and I do care about each and every one of you participating and, bringing energy into this show. So I send energy out to you in this moment, in this now. Namaste. Have a blessed day.